obviously invited, so call me back. Okay, love you. Bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the show for spilling guts and sharing secrets, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drosbeck, who is here and ready and excited to start celebrating Pisces season. Can you believe that the inventor of Emotionally Online and the CEO of Lover Girls Worldwide is a Pisces? Who'd have ever thought? That's crazy. Totally out of left field. I feel like I am the quintessential Pisces. If you know nothing about astrology and you've ever looked at someone and been like, what is a Pisces? Like, explain a Pisces to me. They should have described to you Maddie Drosbeck. I feel like it textbook written down to a T. I'm a Pisces, and it is Pisces season, bitch. And I am so excited because I need a little bit of joy. I do. I need a little bit of joy. I need a little bit of excitement. I need a little something to look forward to. So my birthday coming up, and it generally just being a season that I can be excited about, is going to be so good for me. I'm turning 27 in a few weeks on March 5th. I was born on March 5th, 1997 at 7:45 p.m. in Framingham, Massachusetts. There you go. There's all my information. Do whatever you want with it. Not that I haven't told all of you guys my chart 1,100,000 times. Sun, Pisces. Moon, Aquarius. Rising, Libra. Venus, Pisces. Mars, Libra. Mercury, Pisces. I'm all Pisces and Libra, really. Pisces, Libra, a little bit of Aquarius. And that's me. But here we are. It's Pisces season in the month of lovers. I just had a horrible week, so I couldn't really celebrate Valentine's Day the way that I would have liked to celebrate Valentine's Day, but that's okay because I'm just a fucking girl. Okay. I'm just a fucking girl, and I cannot be all optimistic and happy and doing all that all the time. Okay. I can't. And this week I was not. And this week I was punching the air. I was not fighting anyone. I wasn't even fighting myself. I was simply fighting. I was like a character in Super Smash Brothers over in the fucking corner. I'm your 6-year-old brother that you gave a controller just to be nice, and he has no idea how to work it, and he's just pressing all the buttons at the same time, doing kick flips and all these specialty moves in the corner, hitting nobody, just the air. That's been me. I've just been having a hard week, a hard month, a hard little section of life right now. So this is why I didn't post a podcast episode last week, which I did post about on my Instagram. And you guys were so kind in your messages to me. I did read through everything that was sent to me. And I really deeply, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate how understanding you guys are. Because I always want to be here. I always want to be doing the podcast, but sometimes life happens. This is a one-woman show. So if I can't be 100%, there's nobody to help me. And so that means I sometimes just need to take a step away and take a day for myself, not stress myself out more than I already am. And that's what happened last week. There's just a lot going on in my life, and I needed to take a step to just take care of myself and make sure that I was good. And I did that, and I appreciate your guys' support in that and how kind you were and all of your reminders in my DMs that you want me to prioritize my mental health and take care of myself first and not worry about it. It may seem like something that I already know or something that I don't need to hear, but I do need to hear it, and it's nice to have the reminders, and you guys made me feel a lot better about my choice to take care of my mental health last week. So thank you for that, because it was definitely something that I needed. I'm sure you can hear I'm sick again, which is so frustrating and adds on top of all of the emotional stuff that has been going on for me. Being physically sick at the same time is like such a sick fucking joke. This is the 4th time I've been sick since Christmas. So in the span of 2 months, I've now been sick 4 times, which is so annoying. And it's also just like, I don't know. I feel like I haven't gotten sick in like 4 years, and then all of a sudden I'm getting sick back to back to back to back. Whatever. There's a million colds going around right now. I've happened to collect all of them. So I'm fucking sick of it. It's also the worst when you live alone and you get sick and you're also going through it emotionally. There is nothing lonelier than living alone and being sick, and you're emotionally going through it at the same time. Imagine the loneliest person in the world. That's the situation that they're in. And I'm not even necessarily saying that all instances of having like a roommate necessarily help this. It's like a specific kind of person that you would have to live with. May it be a partner or like a best friend, someone that like you really take care of each other. I've definitely lived with people who helped, like we took care of each other before. So it's not even necessarily just like a living alone thing, but it's like living without people to like really care for each other with. But it's like, it just sucks when you feel so shitty and you're like, I'm just sick. I need help. I want someone to like help just do little tiny tasks around the house for me. I don't even need someone to like bring me food and beverages in bed and cook for me and really coddle to me. I just need someone to fucking like do the dishes, take the trash out, scoop Mango's litter, like all the shit that when you're sick, like tiny things, but when you're sick, they become like huge tasks. And yeah, it feels so lonely to not have somebody to like care for you in that way. So anyways, to be sick and sort of having my loneliness emphasized because of the fact that I was sick, while also going through a heartbreak of some sort, a loss, it has sucked. I've had a hard week. To make a long story short, Miss Mango has now joined me on the couch because she knows I need the emotional support. I swear to God. She's so good. She's so sweet. She just knows me so well. To make a long story short, I've had a difficult week because I had to have a hard conversation with someone that I just adore so much. I've had a big fat crush the last year of my life. And it has been so much fun and it has brought me so much joy. This is someone that started off as a friend and then moved into a crush, and then, you know, over the course of the last year, just they became one of my closest friends. I told them like it was like a year ago. I texted them and was like, "So when are you gonna ask me out on a date?" I love her. I love that version of myself. She was doing whatever she needed to do. It was like a year ago. I texted them. I was like, "So when are you gonna ask me out on a date?" Listen, I got in there. I knew what I wanted, and I said, "I've got a crush on this man. He's my friend, and I think he's something. I think there's something special about this one." And right after I texted him that, he called me, and I was like, "Oh my God." I was like fucking screaming. I've just been it's been so fun, and so I feel like I'm fucking like 14 again. I haven't been so like just I haven't experienced a joyful crush. Someone that just is so genuinely amazing and understanding and supportive and kind to me since I was, I don't know, making it up inside my head as a teenager. Like I don't know that I have anything to compare this to. To have like such a fun experience having a crush on someone and being such close friends and having to, you know, being able to develop this friendship with someone and just focus on getting to know each other as friends and just enjoying having a crush. It's been so sweet and silly and fun. And anyways, a year ago when I said to him, why don't you ask me out on a date? Why haven't you asked me out yet? He told me the reason he hadn't asked me out yet was because he was waiting until he felt that he was in a better headspace emotionally. He was like, I listen to your podcast. I watch your YouTube videos. I am your friend. I know a thing or two about what it is that you're looking for, and I am like, I'll disappoint you. I know what it is that you deserve, and I don't want to open that door with you until I know that I can tick those boxes. Essentially, he's not ready for a relationship in the way that I am, which is fine. And I actually really respected that he said all that, and he was so honest and kind, thoughtful, and he's always been so vulnerable, and yeah, he's just awesome. He's amazing. And I felt like that first conversation, when we sort of opened the door to like talk about the fact that there was a connection between us, just like because of how things went and how it was all handled, it just like opened up the door for us to have a really meaningful friendship with each other. And so that conversation was not the only time we ever talked about our feelings. Obviously, it was a pretty recurrent conversation throughout our friendship, and past that point we just got so close. He became like one of my closest friends after that conversation the last year. And listen, I had no intention of turning my feelings off. I don't know, I guess learning that he was not ready for a relationship didn't change how I felt about him at all, because I didn't need to be in a relationship right that second. In my head, I was like, I've found someone special. I found a connection that I think is special and worth keeping my eye on. And let's just enjoy being friends. Let's just enjoy the process of getting to know someone and becoming friends. And if a door opens down the line and we both happen to be ready for the same thing at the same time, then great. If I meet someone else between now and then I will absolutely pursue that. But like, let's just have fun here, shall we? Let's enjoy this flirty friendship. And I sure did. And I had a great year. And he has become such an important part of my life. He's someone that I really rely on, that I feel really understood by. We have so much in common. Like I just adore him. He's so special to me. And but as you can imagine, when you have such like an emotionally intimate friendship with someone, and there's this romantic subtext that is acknowledged and talked about openly, but it's not being acted on, and there's just room for things to get complicated, you know, sparing all the details. I had to have a hard conversation this week where we just decided that it's probably good for both of us to take some space from talking to each other. I think that we just have, it's hard. It's hard when someone is like so special to you and you just want to like be there to support them and be understanding and patient and like just wrap them up and make them feel so loved and cared for, because that's what they deserve. But I like wish it was just that easy, you know? This is like a hard thing to navigate, and I think we're both doing a good job, but it's painful. You know? I don't know. I'm not an expert at figuring out what to do in all these fucking situations. Flying off the seat of my pants here. I'm figuring it out as I go. This is someone that I care about so much, that I want in my life for a long time. And I'm gonna cry again. I'm like holding back tears this whole fucking time. Like, haven't you cried enough this week, bitch? What the fuck? So anyways, that's how I spent my Valentine's Day week. You know, just navigating intense emotional bonds with people that you really care about. And you know what? Having a big, fat, joyous crush. And maybe that's what I want to remember right now through all of this. The thing that I keep going back to and leaning on is like, If I had to go back and do all of this over again, I would do it all exactly the same. I feel like I have been so great at talking about my feelings with this person and navigating it with them, being open and vulnerable and honest. And I feel like we've done a good job of navigating it together. I feel like it's just been such a nice experience for me to meet someone that like genuinely gives a fuck about me. And that makes it so obvious and it's so unambiguous. It's so easy to understand how they care about me, and that's been great. It's awesome actually to get to be so close with someone and have even these shittier, harder conversations with someone who genuinely gives a fuck. And also that makes having a crush fun. So often having a crush is so fucking miserable. Like the amount of people that I've had crushes on where it's just like, I don't know, it's like the angsty kind of crush where it's like half the appeal of the crush is how unstable they make you feel. Like you never know what they're thinking or feeling or like nothing to latch yourself onto ever. It's just like, I don't know. It's like the unrequited love, the unrequited crush with someone who like barely acknowledges your existence. And it's like when you're a teenager, that's like the kind of crush that you lean into all the time where it's like you gaze at them from afar or you like fall in love with your friend and it's like but you never discuss it and it's never acknowledged and whatever. It's like these crushes that are like so deeply painful. This might have been the first crush in my whole life that was just fun. It was just fun and joyous and yeah, getting to know someone and get so close with someone that truly cares so deeply for you and that you have this like mutual deep care and understanding of each other. It's just so special and I wouldn't trade it for anything, even if things are a bit complicated right in the present moment. It's been so fun and I wouldn't change a single goddamn thing. But I think we're doing okay and we'll figure it out. And it is what it is, right? I think when in in love, in friendships, you have to sometimes take space to figure out where you both need to sit, where feels the best for both of you, what you need to do for yourself. And I don't know. I don't know. There's so much that I don't know. I just know that I care about this person a lot and I want them in my life. That's all I know. So we're going to figure that out. Oh, God. Okay, guys. Should we get to some audience submissions? Should we talk about other people's lives instead of mine? That would be awesome for me. I think I would really enjoy that. Hello, Maddie. My current obsession for Lover's Month is the orange peel theory. With acts of service being in my top 2 love languages, I've been noticing and appreciating more of the little things my friends have been helping me with. It breaks my heart seeing some women asking for help with such a simple task and being absolutely shut down. I would love to hear your thoughts and some of the little orange peel tasks that make you feel loved. I think something that really makes me feel loved, which I don't know if it's really like orange peel level task, because I think what I'm about to say is more like emotional care than it is like picking up a task for someone. But like I mentioned earlier with like being sick and not having someone to like take the trash out, if someone like if I was sick and I had someone to just do little tasks for me, like to just come over and hang out with Mango and take care of her and, you know, I don't know, make me soup, take my trash out, that would be huge. But I'm thinking like maybe when I'm not sick, what is more valuable to me, I think, is like, I don't know, little like emotional ways people can show up. But the first thing that came to my mind was like when I am really struggling with my anxiety, I find it really hard to talk about, mostly because I often feel embarrassed of the things that are giving me anxiety, or like I'm at least acutely aware that like what it is that is causing me so much stress is like not entirely warranted, or like I'm just getting hung up on something be past the point that it is reasonable to get hung up on something. And so because I like struggle with shame with my anxiety and putting words to it, I feel like oftentimes when I am struggling with anxiety, I will like really downplay what it is that I'm feeling, or I'll throw it off in like a very casual way and not talk about it deeper. I don't think I do a good job of hiding that I'm panicking, to be fair. I just think that I won't put words to why it is that I'm panicking. And then people don't really know what's wrong with me because I'm like, well, I can't say out loud why I'm panicking because you're all going to think I'm insane, but I am panicking. And I just think that someone just sitting with me in my anxiety and helping me feel a little bit less shame for the things that are making me so anxious is like huge to me. I don't know if that really fits into like the orange peel theory, but I'm not even thinking about it in like big ways, more in little ways of someone just being like, "Hey, like I'm going to sit here with you and I'm not going to go anywhere and you don't have to talk about it. We can just sit here." Or like if I'm really overwhelmed by something and like I feel kind of frozen and someone's like, "Okay, let's just do one thing at a time. Like, do you want to go get up and do this first?" And they almost like, and they like really help me move like step by step out of my anxiety. That is like huge to me and like makes me feel so safe with someone when they don't, I don't know, they don't lean into the reasons why I might feel like ashamed or embarrassed of my anxiety. They don't make me feel small for it. They don't get frustrated with me for the fact that I am feeling anxious and stressed out, but they just offer to sit with me in it, or like take a small step with me. I don't need someone to like do things for me. I need someone to do things with me. You know, sometimes that means more to me because I do like to do things myself and I am quite independent, but sometimes I just need someone to sit in it with me and be like, "Okay, there's a lot going on. You're anxious about all these things. Like let's just take it one step at a time here. Let's sit in it. And let's not judge ourselves while we sit in it." And having someone to sort of like lead that with me really means a lot to me, and has meant a lot to me in the past when people have done it. You know, I would really love to be able to breathe out of my nose right now. That would be huge. Oy vey. Hello, Maddie. I just wanted to start by saying I love your content and I think you're an amazing and very underrated content creator. You are so talented and have created such a beautiful and uplifting space for women on the internet, which I think all of your fans are grateful for. That is so kind of you and definitely something that feels really good to hear this week. So thank you very much for that. I've been with my boyfriend for about 6 months now, and everything is perfect other than our sex life. To give you a bit of context, we were really good friends for about a year before we got together, even though we liked each other, and this was because I wasn't really feeling the physical attraction side of things. My romantic feelings grew stronger and stronger for him the more we got to know each other, so despite my lack of sexual attraction to him, I said yes to being his girlfriend. The first few times we tried to have sex, we had to stop because I just wasn't feeling it and couldn't get into it. After a few more tries, we began having sex regularly, and while I didn't feel super attracted to him, it was still good sex, and he and I enjoyed ourselves. Fast forward to now, I'm beginning to feel those same feelings again and can't seem to bring myself to feel attraction or a desire for sexual intimacy with him. I feel very conflicted about how to handle this situation. I know my boyfriend is suspicious because we are hardly ever having sex anymore, but he struggles badly with body image and I don't know how to bring it up in a way that isn't going to send him spiraling. It is absolutely nothing to do with him and all to do with me, but I don't think he'll see it like that. I also feel conflicted because other than our sex life, everything in our relationship is perfect. We are so compatible and well suited to one another romantically, emotionally, and intellectually. I've never been in a happier or healthier relationship in my entire life. I guess what I'm asking is, do you think that sexual attraction can make or break a relationship? Do you think that it's possible to maintain a healthy, long-term relationship with minimal sexual intimacy. We love each other deeply and I don't want to break up with him, but I don't think I'll ever feel truly sexually attracted to him. I have so much to say in response to this, but let's start by looking at the first set of questions you asked. Do you think that sexual attraction can make or break a relationship? Do you think that it's possible to maintain a healthy long-term relationship with minimal sexual intimacy? Sometimes. But here's the thing. That has to be what both of you are okay with. Obviously, asexual people exist. Asexual relationships exist. There are plenty of relationships out there where sex is not a priority. Sex is not at the forefront. It's not what is most important. That's totally fine. If that is the type of relationship you're in, then cool. But it doesn't sound like that's the type of relationship that you're in. If sex is important, if sex is a huge part of a relationship to you or to your partner, I don't think it's fair to your partner to stay with them if you are not completely sexually attracted to them. If you really care about this person, don't you think that they deserve to be with someone that loves them completely in all the ways they want to be loved? I don't think it's fair to you or your partner to stay in a relationship that you are not like 100% in on. Like if I was dating someone, I assume that they said yes to me because they are physically attracted to me, emotionally attracted to me, sexually attracted to me. If I learned that the person I was in a relationship with never was sexually attracted to me, oh boy, would that hurt my feelings. And oh boy, would it hurt my feelings even more if I found out that they stayed in a relationship with me because they didn't want to hurt my feelings or they wanted to reap all the other benefits of being in a relationship with me without the sexual aspect of it. It just feels like really dangerous territory we're playing with here. I don't think it's fair to your partner. I also don't think it's fair to you because you deserve to be with someone that you are excited about sexually and that you want to be with in that way. There was a comment that was posted on one of my recent YouTube videos. We were talking about rejection and feeling like unafraid of having your feelings hurt or being rejected. And somebody commented talking about how like when you're faced with the options of either A, being rejected or B, being with someone who's settling to be with you, wouldn't you rather be rejected? And I think pretty much everyone is going to say, yeah, I'd rather be fucking rejected, because being with someone who's settling to be with you, who's looking at you like, they don't have everything, but I'll keep them here. They have most things. I'm not sexually attracted to her at all, but she's good enough. I'll keep her here. If I was dating someone who felt that way about me, that would crush me. Them breaking up with me would be fine. Them rejecting me, way better. Significantly better than them being like, yeah, she's missing this major part and she believes that I think she has this, but I'm just not. I'm not attracted to her in that way, and she has no idea, and she is in this relationship thinking that we are, and we're not. And that is heartbreaking. For you to basically be settling for them. You're not completely satisfied in this relationship. You are not attracted to them sexually. You are minimizing what you want, settling for this, and you're taking the ability for them to be with someone who loves them completely in all ways away from them. They should be able to be with someone that is like completely into them and excited to be with them in all ways, not just emotionally. You know, I think it's hard when you have like a good connection with someone in some ways. It sometimes is hard to acknowledge the parts of the connection that are not fully up to par, but at the end of the day, I do think it's better to break up with someone if sex is really important to you, to them in a relationship, unless this has been established that it's not as big of a priority in your relationship. I would be fucking distraught over this personally, and I would be really upset if someone stayed with me despite not being sexually attracted to me. I'd be so mad, I'll be honest with you. So I think it's better to break up with them, and we can't save people from being hurt or disappointed or heartbroken in this lifetime, and we don't need to. They are capable of processing their own emotions and dealing with it. You don't have to carry that. I think it is more painful and more hurtful to stay with someone that you are not completely all in on and let them believe that you're all in on them in that way. I think that's worse. So I think that you should break up, because I don't think that's fair to either of you to stay in a relationship that you are half into. Hello, Maddie. How do you deal with the fear of never finding your person as a hopeless romantic? How do we get to the place of being a hopeful romantic during the hard times, like after a breakup? Thanks. I don't know. Everyone always like tries to differentiate hopeless romantic and hopeful romantic, but to me, those terms mean the exact same thing. Like hopeless romantic to me is always just like, there's nothing I can do. This is who I am. I'm a lover girl through and through. Like you can't change me. I'm a hopeless romantic. This is who I am. It's hopeless. I'm hopeless to change the fact that I'm a romantic. And hopeful romantic just feels like redundant. If you're a romantic, you are hopeful about love. The hopeless part of hopeless romantic to me always read as like, I'm hopeless to change the fact that I'm a romantic. And the world is cold, and the world wants you to change the fact that you're a romantic, but you can't. You're hopelessly a romantic. You know what I mean? I never took hopeless romantic to be like, you're a romantic that has no hope in love. Has it ever meant that? I feel like it's never meant that. What do you mean? If you're a romantic, it's just like that contradicts itself. Does it not? Like to me, it's always been like, she's a hopeless romantic. She just can't help herself. Hopelessly in love. It's just who she is. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just whatever. It just feels like an issue of semantics. So to me, it's the same thing. Anyways, first question. How do you deal with the fear of never finding your person as a hopeless romantic? This is a fear that I had when I was younger a lot, but the older that I've gotten, this isn't really something I worry about anymore. Number one, because I feel like your person can look so many different ways. I have already met so many people in this lifetime that are my people. I don't think that it has to be a romantic connection that carries that kind of weight and that kind of like bond between two people. I don't think it's exclusive to like romantic partners. I also don't believe that there's like one person out there for everyone. I think there are multiple people out there for everyone, and you've got so many opportunities to meet so many people that you'll connect with in this lifetime. I just think that like connection and love and intimacy is endless, and there's no drought of it. There's no like one person that you're looking for. I think there are so many different paths and people and lovers that we meet in our lifetime that can all be so completely important to us. On top of that, second part of that is that I'm not afraid of being alone. So if I, honest to God, never meet someone that I connect with in that way, which just feels improbable because I'm 26 and I've already met so many people that I connect with on a deeper level in other ways, even though I haven't met someone romantically where it's really clicked and, you know, we've been on the same page and all of that. It would be so improbable to believe that it would never happen, but let's play into it for a second. Let's say I genuinely never meet someone that it clicks with me in that way, then I would rather be alone. If I don't meet the right person for me, I would not settle for the wrong person. You know, I either meet them and we're together and it's fantastic, or I never meet them and they never existed and I'll never know what I missed out on and it didn't exist. It's not like I met them and they're the one that got away. You know what I mean? I didn't meet them. It never happened. And I lived a beautiful, happy life alone with all of the other connections that I've made in my life. There is so much love surrounding me. There's so much love surrounding all of us. There's so many beautiful, deep, like charged connections, people that we'll meet in our lifetime that are like so one of one. There are so many people that are going to like move you like that. I think it's so silly to put all your eggs in the romantic basket, coming from someone who loves love more than fucking anything on earth. But the thing is like, if I don't meet the right person for me, I'm not going to settle for the wrong one. So if the right person doesn't come along, I will be alone and I will stay single and I will enjoy my fucking self and enjoy my life with all of the other people that I love, all of the other people that are my people in this lifetime that are so one of one and add so much to my life. Just because I'm not finding like a husband or a wife doesn't mean that I'm like lacking in any way. I don't know. I just like reject this idea that romantic love is the end all be all. I love love. I long to find this romantic partnership, and I know that I will. It's out there in abundance for me. But let's say in this strange universe that doesn't exist, where love is scarce and I can't find it, then I don't know. Then I just stay single and I'm happy and I enjoy my friends and my family. Like, I don't know. Love is so abundant that it seems so silly to me to believe that you wouldn't find love. And also, like, if I genuinely didn't find it, what am I supposed to do? Settle for something that's not love? If I didn't find love, I didn't find it. And that's completely improbable that it doesn't exist, because we already know that it exists because we're surrounded by love in so many other ways. So I just don't believe in that, I think, is what I'm getting at here. I don't have a fear of not finding my person or not falling in love because I'm surrounded by love constantly. I'm always falling in love. I think I've fallen in love with every person I've ever met ever in my life because I'm a Pisces, and that is the weight that I carry. So let's move on to the second part of this question. How do we get to the place of being a hopeful romantic during the hard times, like after a breakup? I think, like, endings are hard, always. Breakups are hard, endings are hard. Pouring into something and having it not go the way you wanted it to go, being disappointed, it's all hard. Listen, I get it. But here's the thing. Don't you feel like sometimes in the aftermath of a breakup, or when something that you wanted to work doesn't, don't you feel like there's some part of you, and we could lean into this part, that is just like, wow, that was so exciting and so thrilling, and like, thank God I know that this feeling exists, and this type of person, this type of connection is out there, and I just experienced it, and how lucky am I to have experienced it, and oh my God, I can't wait to experience it again. Just because this one thing doesn't work out doesn't mean it's the only thing out there that is similar to this. Doesn't mean it's the only connection out there that's going to make you feel this way. Sometimes I just like to use connections as proof that, like, something is out there. This is who you met and really connected with during your 26th year of life. And if you talked to the version of you that existed a year before you met them, you would be like, no fucking way. This is so exciting. That's so awesome. The same way, if the version of you now only knew the person that you're going to meet 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, you would sit here and go, oh my God, no fucking way. That's going to be so fun. That's going to be so beautiful and amazing and glorious. You know, there's so much to look forward to. There's so many people that we've yet to meet so far. And I think that every ending is just an opportunity to look back on the good parts of the relationship, if there is any. Sometimes people just suck, and we need to put that to bed and be like, and thank God that's over and we never have to talk to them again so we can move on to bigger and better things. But if this is someone that you really liked and you had a good connection with and it just didn't work out for whatever reason, I think that it's nice to be able to look back at that as proof that, like, goodness and good connections exist out there. And, like, how exciting is it going to be to get to meet somebody who makes you feel the way that that person did, but is maybe a better fit for you in one or two more ways. You have a better connection and just a little bit more, you know, so you're able to build a stronger foundation and a stronger relationship as a result. Like, there's just so many opportunities for love in this lifetime. It would be so silly to write off, you know, how much love is going to come to us in the very near future because one thing didn't work out. Use it as proof. It exists, it's out there, and it's for you. Okay? In abundance.
I can't believe that Love Island All-Stars is over. So we have so much to talk about. This season of Love Island was significantly shorter than a standard season. It was 5 weeks in comparison to the normal, like, 8 to 9 weeks that it typically is. So anyways, it's over. We already know who won. So we have a lot to catch up on. Okay. I just finished. The finale aired today as I'm recording this. So I'm ready to get right into it and catch you up on all of my thoughts from the last 2 weeks since I was not here. Let's get into it, babes. So the last thing that just happened was, of course, the big recoupling drama with Toby picking Loyal G. That's sort of like the big thing that we left off on here. Okay, Callum is pissed that Loyal G is even entertaining the thing with her and Toby. Like, this was put to bed. We were seeing each other. What is wrong with you? She was all like upset, crying the day that it happened. She's like, oh my God, I just don't know what to do with myself. And now she's all in on Toby. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. And then Toby and Loyal G are laying down, cuddling, comforting each other because all this drama has now broke out and the whole villa's against them and whatever. And he's asking her what she's grateful for to calm her down. And her first answer is to say, my long natural hair. And she's crying when she says this. She's like, I'm grateful for my long natural hair. Unbelievable. So fucking funny. The official Love Island Instagram account changed their entire bio to I'm grateful for my long natural hair. Beautiful. Great quote. Loved every second of it. The PDAs are here and they're happening. An award show for the Villa's Messiest Babes. We've got 6 categories. 3 Islanders nominated for each category. So let's get into it. Some of them are kind of just like nonsense where I feel like they just needed to nominate everyone for something. So there's a bunch of like, who cares categories in here. I'll tell you about the ones that matter. The category Sneaky All-Star comes up. The nominees are Sophie for sharing Loyal G's convo about not seeing herself having sex with Callum, Arabella for calling Chris a prick after all that mess that happened, and Loyal G for asking Tom if he still fancies her, and him asking if she wanted to be with him or Callum, and she said Tom. And then all this other flirting clips of them on the terrace where she's like, we've really got something, whatever. And then Callum is sitting across the pool when this is happening, when they're watching this clip. And Callum immediately was like, I thought you was a loyal babe. And then Callum calls out that while they were in the hideaway, which was they went to the hideaway right after that clip of Georgia and Tom sitting around the fire pit, being like, who do you like more, me or Callum? And then Callum brought up that while they were in the hideaway, she said that she wouldn't want to be in the hideaway with anyone besides him. And he brought that up immediately. And I was like, oh, and we knew that was going to happen. And how many times have I said, Loyal G, are you forgetting you're on fucking camera? Are you forgetting that like all of these lies that are happening, they're going to catch up to you. And here they are catching up with her. But this made Molly mad too, realizing that Tom had sort of participated in this like weird truth thing around the fire pit where he was doing a little bit of flirting back at that point. I do think that Tom pretty immediately with Georgia was like, I'm interested in pursuing Molly, but he was flirting back a little bit at first. I'll give her that. But I don't think that's necessarily his fault because this was like day 1 of them exploring something, and once it started progressing, he did shut it down with Georgia. Loyal G, I mean. It's so complicated having 2 Georgias in the villa, both Georgia and Loyal G, and like remembering to call her Loyal G instead of Georgia. Anyways, so complicated. Get different names. So then Toby starts getting riled up at Callum for whatever reason, and he's like defending Loyal G for what she did. Toby's not even fucking involved in this mess. This is Callum, Tom, Loyal G. And then Toby's like, here I am, knight in shining armor. As Loyal G is yelling at Callum, being like, we'll talk about it later if you have any respect for me whatsoever. And he's like, what about your respect for me? Like, what the fuck? What's going on? How can you ask for respect when you haven't given it up until this point? Shut the fuck up. Loyal G ends up winning that category, obviously, babes. Then while all these other categories are happening, we're getting these like little clips, other snippets here and there. Loyal G is talking to the girls sitting with her, and she's insisting that she has been honest this whole time, and that is honestly how she felt in all of those moments. She honestly didn't want to be in the hideaway with anyone besides Callum, even though she honestly said mere minutes before to Tom sitting around the fire pit that she liked him more than Callum? Question mark. Like, what does that say about you? Do you honestly think that saying that you were honest about everything and that's honestly how you felt in all those separate moments, do you think that makes you look better? Because I don't. I think it makes you look flimsy as fuck. Like you can just boomerang from feeling strongly one moment to the next. That makes it all look disingenuous. So I think you should just stick to the fact that only one thing is true, rather than saying it's all true. Because if it's all true, then you just look like someone who's been lying. Which you have been. Then there's some other drama that happens during the PDAs with Sophie and Josh, because during the All-Star Revelations category, Tom is nominated for encouraging Casey to hit on Molly. Georgia is nominated for saying that Anton is like such a catch, but she just doesn't want him and she's got the ick. And then while this is being aired, Georgia's like, I came back from the ick. It's fine. We're good. I don't know that I believe her, to be totally honest with you, but this is the story she's telling herself. So it is. I do believe my King Anton deserves a little bit better, but I digress. And then Josh is nominated for calling Sophie his future wife in bed, and then a few days later saying that he's open to getting to know Joanna. And then Sophie's pissed because she's like, you're telling us two different things. Just be so honest. Like, to me, you're saying I'm not open to getting to know Joanna and I'm focused on you. And then to her, you're like straight up saying, yeah, I'm open. I'm not closed off. I'm open to getting to know her, whatever. So Sophie's pissed. Georgia has apparently come back from the ick. Then there's like an all-star special recognition award that goes to a pairing. So it goes to Loyal G and Toby. And it's a clip of her saying that I'll always have a special place in my heart for you, Tobe, always. And then she starts talking about Callum, and she's like, I've only known him for a week. Like, how is he going to compete with our past? There's just no competition there. And Callum is obviously pissed. He's like, is this just a big fucking game to you? And she's just being called out for being a huge liar. And she starts being like, I didn't know I was going to have feelings for Toby again. Like, how can I avoid history? You're just not in the situation that I'm in, Cal. Which is so fucking funny because he literally is. And he's in a situation that is 10 times more invested with 10 times more history than you do. So what the fuck are you talking about? This was so funny. She was like, Cal, sometimes people hurt people. Like, when you brought Molly back from Castle Moore and hurt Shauna 3 fucking years ago, 4 years ago. This was a long time ago. This was fucking winter season 2020. Season 6 of Love Island this happened. And him and Molly ended up in a 3.5-year long relationship. That is so funny. When you are like, when you have just done something shitty, you have just been caught in a lie. You just hurt someone's feelings and you bring up something shitty they did to someone else 4 years ago. That's wild. That's so funny. Nothing's ever safe. Don't you dare ever make a mistake ever in your life ever. Don't you dare ever hurt someone's feelings ever, because you never know when someone like Loyal G is going to come in and say that she was justified in everything that she did, because you hurt people sometimes in this lifetime. And here's an example of when you did it 4 years ago, you big dumbass. And then Callum and Molly start getting actually mad here. Callum's like, I've been in it with Molly for 3.5 years. Like, how the fuck is your shit deeper than mine? How are you going to sit there and say that I don't get it, or that you're in a position that none of us could possibly understand, when I literally am living in this villa with my ex of 3.5 years, who I had a full relationship with, who I have all this history. We live together. We have dogs together. Like, I don't, what are you on about? And then she's committing to like her lie, committing to how little responsibility she's going to take in this, being like, what is it that I need to own up to? I mean, it's literally insane. It is difficult to watch, but this is how she was on her season too. So I guess she literally hasn't changed at all, even though her season was like, what, 2018 or 2017 was her season. She hasn't changed at all. Terrifying. Oh my god. And then Molly's crying, poor girl. She's just like angry that Loyal G is comparing her situation with Toby to her and Callum, and Molly has like, I don't know, she like stepped to the side for her to let her do her thing with Callum, and her frustration with Loyal G all this time has just been like, make up your fucking mind. Like, people's feelings are at stake here, and you're just like walking all over people. And she is. And I'm Team Molly, honestly. And I've always said that, babes. Then Molly calls out Tom for lying about his conversations with Loyal G and what the contents of them are. And I'll say, I don't think he necessarily lied, but he did withhold information that protected Loyal G. Like, I this whole time when Loyal G's been lying about what their conversations were like, Tom was the only one that had the power to be like, actually, that's a lie. And this was said, and this thing happened. But Tom was just, like, quiet about all of it. He just didn't mention it. I don't know if he's just, like, I don't know why he did that, genuinely. I mean, maybe he was just like, oh, it's not worth it because I have no interest in her and I'm just over it. But there were, like, several opportunities where he could have, like, really let the truth shine. But he withheld it for whatever reason, which isn't necessarily lying, but it's not telling the truth either. So, I don't know. And then afterwards, Loyal G is like, I've really got to make a decision here. Like, do I want Toby or Callum? And it's like, babe, one of your decisions has fully walked off. Like, there's no decision. Callum does not want you anymore. Trust me. You're good. Oh my God. She's like the gaslighting queen. She's saying things that she never said. Like, she's claiming that she never said things. Meanwhile, she is on camera saying those things. And she's like, I literally never said it. I'm like, I, as an audience member, feel fucking gaslit by Loyal G right now. Then Josh ends up ending it with Joanna and patching things up with Sophie because of that weird thing that happened in the middle of the PDAs. Anyways, new bombshells are here. Woo! We've got Joe from season 5 and Jess and Eve, the twins, from season 6. They do a dare game freshly after they enter the villa, and it comes out that Molly and Joe, I guess, had kissed recently outside of the villa at some point, and Loyal G brings this up in front of everyone because it was like he was dared something. He ends up kissing Molly, and then Loyal G was like, oh, was that the first time, Moll? And Molly was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry, have you not done enough, bitch? Lay off. And I think Molly handled it well, because if Loyal G had done that to me after everything else that Loyal G has done to Molly, it's just like, leave her alone. What is your issue? And whatever, it just seemed really directed considering all the fights that her and Molly have been in lately, so that was a choice. But Molly handles it well. Loyal G is pissed because Josh picks her for the person that's here for followers. Oh my God, it's too much. And I guess that was really it for the dare game. The biggest thought that's been on my brain this entire season of Love Island, and perhaps beyond this, because I've thought this just for quite some time now, and I haven't said it because I haven't been brave enough, but I'm feeling brave today. Okay? The fucking bathing suits that are popular these days that look like a loincloth need to fucking go. They are so hideous. I have not seen them look good on one single fucking person. It looks so bad. It looks like a loincloth. It's giving barbarian. What's that called? Dave the Barbarian? Tarzan? It's giving cave woman, okay? Do you know which ones I'm talking about? It's like a square patch of fabric from front to back. It doesn't like get wide or anything, and it's always like it's a lot of fabric that like is scrunched up in a rectangle that just goes straight down front to back. It is the ugliest fucking bathing suit ever. It looks bad on everyone. And I've seen a few of them this season. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, there comes one of the loincloth bathing suits. Why the fuck do people like them? And you know, I'm not usually someone that has a lot of strong opinions on this shit, because usually I'm like, everybody styles things in their different ways. And I love that people wear things that make them feel good and happy and whatever. Loincloth bathing suits are where I draw the fucking line. I can't stand them. I think they're hideous. We need to burn them. Okay? They're so gross. Sophie and Josh end up closing it off. We make it to a recoupling where Joe picks Arabella, and he gives like a whole speech on how sometimes you've got to step on toes in here. And it's like, whose toes, babe? Arabella's the only one not with someone right now. And then Jess and Callum couple up, even Casey, Tom and Molly, Anton and Georgia, Toby and Loyal G, Josh and Sophie, Chris and Joanna, leaving Kaz alone and therefore dumped from the villa. Joanna is starting to get the ick from Chris, and she's deciding that she likes Callum instead and might want to explore that. Craig David is here. I don't know who that is. Every time they have a musical guest on Love Island, I have no fucking clue who it is. The only time I knew who it was like, I don't even know what his name is. Joel Corey. I knew that. When they had Joel Corey on a few seasons ago, I was like, oh, just because you're lonely. I like that song. But every other time they've had someone on, I'm like, who is this? I don't know. Sometimes they play one song that I'm like, oh, okay, I think I've heard that song before. I think I've probably heard that on TikTok or in the background of this show. They're always like the shittiest songs ever, though. It's like they have the shittiest one-hit wonders on there. Or like a really British DJ. It's like the British David Guettas. I don't know. I feel like I never know people they have on there. But Craig David is there. He brings out ex-Islander Wes Nelson, who has started to make music, who I'll be honest, I do like some of his stuff. And Arabella happens to have history with him, so that's funny. After the little Craig David performance, Anton asks Georgia to be exclusive, and she says yes, so they close it off. I'm still not totally convinced that she wants to be with him, but okay, I'll buy it for now. And then Joanna says that she wants to take a step back from Chris officially after the ick. Then there's a couples voting game. Some drama is happening, okay? A lot of the voting game, not a lot to talk about. Here's the big takeaways from the voting game. Get to the question of, like, which couple has the least sexual chemistry. Everyone's voting for Chris and Joanna and Anton and Georgia. Which couple is the most one-sided? Everyone's voting for Chris and Joanna. Joanna starts crying because she feels like people are really laying into her. And she's only just starting to dig into how she felt. Like, she just told Chris she wanted to take a step back to explore things with Callum, like, that same day. And I guess it wasn't completely shut off with Chris. She just wanted to also talk to Callum, too. But she did say that she was getting the ick from Chris, which is just, like, that makes it seem like it's a no. Like, I don't know. From an audience perspective, it seemed like Joanna was not into Chris at all. So I get why the Islanders thought that, because that's kind of what it seemed like to me too. But then she was getting upset because she was like, I feel like people are laying into me, and I only just started digging into how I feel today, and now I just like feel bad, and I don't know. Who's the least compatible couple? Everybody's tiptoeing around the fact that Joanna was just crying, so now the voting is sort of all over the place. And because of this, because they didn't know this at the time, but the couples that they were voting for least compatible were the couples that were going to be vulnerable and at risk for leaving the island. So the vulnerable couples are Callum and Jess, Casey and Eve, Chris and Joanna, and Arabella and Joe. Now those are the vulnerable couples. The remaining Islanders must pick one boy and one girl to leave the villa. They're all fighting about who to send home, and they eventually land on sending home Joanna and Joe, which I thought was a wild decision. I thought it was Chris's time to go home for sure. Because at that point, Joanna wants to explore things with Callum, and she's sort of ending things with Chris. Why would we send Joanna home? She just got there, and then Joe was with Arabella. So it was like, why don't we send Chris home, who is like not with anybody right now, and Joanna just effectively ended it with him, or if that's how all of you guys are seeing it, send Chris home. But they didn't for whatever reason. I don't know. I was thinking I don't know who I would have picked for the girl, but I think I know that they weren't going to send home Casey and Eve, but like I would have sent home Casey and Eve. I don't know. Otherwise, I think if it was up to me and only me, I feel like I probably would have sent home Chris and Eve. Fuck Casey. Yeah, I'm going to send home your bitch. Chris is pissed as they sent Joanna home. I thought it was way overplayed and dramatic. So, I don't know. He was doing the most for someone that, like, effectively got told earlier that day that she had the ick about him. And then he's like, how could you break us up? Like, okay, I felt like it seemed like you guys were on the outs anyways, but who cares? Then, new bombshell entering. We've got Adam from season 2 who enters, and he immediately couples up with Arabella. sending Chris home. So you know what? Chris, don't even worry about it. You're going home too, my buddy, my guy. After all of this drama, Casey starts talking about how he's just really not that into Eve and he doesn't see a future with her. Casey tells this to Callum. Callum tells this to Sophie, who tells Eve, and then Eve calls Casey out in it. And he's like, I literally never said that. He literally did. Too bad we're not going to have a lot of time to think about this any further because there's been a public vote, and the lowest voted couples are Sophie and Josh, Eve and Casey, and Loyal G and Toby, which for the one time ever, the British public and I are aligned because that would also be my lowest votes. Crazy Town, USA. And as a result, Eve and Casey are dumped from the villa. Then we've got the heart race challenge where they're doing like little strip teases in front of each other, whatever. Not much to report there except for the fact that when they went through all of the heartbeats after the fact to see whose heart rate was raised the most by who, what is most interesting here is that Callum's heart rate was raised the most by Molly, and Molly's heart rate was raised the most by Callum. Drama. Not that fucking surprising, if you ask me. If you have history with someone and you're watching someone that you've just like had sex with for the last 3.5 years do like a sexy lap dance and like be flirty with you and all these other people right in front of your face, like, I'm sorry, are you not gonna get fired up about that? Or you know, also it's like your heart can beat for more than one reason. It's not like your heart is beating because you find them super attractive, which they do. They were together for 3.5 years. That doesn't just go away because you broke up. Second of all, don't you feel like because you're exes, your heart would start to like pitter patter even more than usual because you're like, that's my fucking ex and we're doing all this, and it's like, that's you know, like we're reopening a door. We're like teasing a little door that's been closed for months now. Like it makes sense to me. I would not personally have had any reaction to learning that. And then when they learned that, Loyal G looks at Molly and is like, are you okay? And Molly was like, of course I am. What the fuck? I totally get why Molly finds Loyal G so fucking annoying. I would find her annoying too, because that is annoying for her to like make a big deal out of something that is so not, and it is so explainable why Molly's heart rate would have been raised the most by Callum and not Tom, and vice versa. Oh, also the other part of this was that not only was Molly's heart rate raised the most by Callum and vice versa, but the numbers came back that Tom and Molly raised each other's heart rates the least out of any couple. So little awkward, little uncomfortable, but I do feel like it was sort of like the obvious outcome, and I don't think that it was that big of a deal. Then we make it to the public ranking game where the public ranks the couples based on certain questions, and then the Islanders have to guess which couples made it into the top 3 in this ranking and rank it for themselves, and they all get into arguments and fights over who needs to be in what position and why and whatever. I'm not going to go through what all of the results to these were. Who's the hottest couple, the most argumentative couple, the most boring couple, which couple are only together to win, whatever, all these things. You listen, we know what a lot of them are going to be based on what the public's been voting so far anyways. Throughout the whole ranking, Josh is like continuously throwing shots at Georgia and Anton, which is like a little bizarre. And just like, why is he doing all that? The other notable thing was the most likely to cheat question. Toby and Loyal G were voted in the number 1 position. And Toby was a little upset about that because Toby has been cheated on, which it was hinted at earlier in the season that Chloe, who was who he ended up with in season 7, who he ended up dating for a long time afterwards. It was hinted at that maybe she had cheated on him and that's why their relationship ended, but it was basically confirmed after this challenge that Chloe cheated on him, and he like really struggled in the aftermath of all of that. Makes sense. Cheating is traumatic. But to be honest, I don't think that the public put them up there because of Toby. I think it was more because of Loyal G and how much she had been bouncing around. Not that Toby's been innocent this season either, but I just feel like maybe Loyal G had more of a pull there than he did. But he was really upset about it because he was like, I would just never do that to another person. I know what that's like. And it like destroyed me. Okay, now let's talk about Anton and Georgia and Josh. So Anton has started feeling like he's just doubting Georgia's feelings for him. Then we get to this ranking challenge. Josh is throwing shots at Anton and Georgia the whole time, like doubting their connection, just being kind of like excessively rude for no reason, continuing to give his opinion towards them. Now listen, I don't necessarily think that Anton and Georgia are it either. I think that Anton is way more into Georgia than Georgia's into Anton. I think Georgia has had to convince herself to like Anton. I think it's one of those situations where Georgia's probably like, he's so great, he's so good for me, why don't I like him? And she's just forcing herself to like him. That's how I'm reading it. I don't think that she's that into him. Maybe we're all wrong, but it seems like a lot of people in the villa have a similar opinion where they just don't really see the connection there. And Josh and Georgia talk after the fact, and he's like, as your friend, I'm just trying to be honest in here and tell you what everyone thinks. Like 70% of people in the villa think there's absolutely nothing going on between you two. And Georgia was like, I think you're wrong, and I'm in here trying to put myself out there and be open to finding love and just see like what's out there, and I'm trying it with him, and I don't appreciate all of this criticism and like learning that 70% of the villa thinks this. Like when I'm just learning that all my friends are talking about me behind my back and nobody has said this to my face. So then Anton and Georgia call everyone around the fire pit, and they're like, so I've heard that a lot of people are unsupportive of this relationship, so let's talk about it, let's air it out here. And then Josh is pissed that nobody's agreeing with him, and he like storms away from the fire pit, and it's like, what was all that about then? Here's my thing. If Anton was like a shitty person, then I would understand why Josh was being so persistent in saying that he didn't think that there was anything there, and he thought that their relationship was the weakest or whatever else he was saying during that challenge. Like, if Anton was a bad guy and as Georgia's friend, you wanted to be like, I don't know, really going in and making your opinion known, that's one thing. But he's making this like really rude opinion known for seemingly no reason at all. And it made me sad for her because it seemed like there was something that someone said, I want to say it was Molly, where she was like, Georgia's had such a hard time in dating on the outside, and there's been like so much like shit that she's dealt with, people that she's met that have just been like so unkind to her, and here she's met someone who's like actually like a really good fucking guy, and now everyone's making her feel bad for exploring it with this guy that treats her so much better than all these people on the outside. So it's like, you think that if you knew what the context of her dating experiences were like, that maybe even if you didn't think that they had the best relationship, that as her friend, you would still be supportive because she's dating someone that is a good person and is kind to her. And that's kind of what matters here. You know? So I don't really understand why Josh is so committed to making this opinion see the light of day. And he's like, it's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. It's like, why is this opinion so important to you that you're willing to risk your friendship to like throw it out into the ether, despite knowing that it's hurting George's feelings, who is your friend and has had historically difficult times in relationships? It just seems mean for no reason. So anyways, they end up ending their friendship. They go on Valentine's Day dates. They get their phone calls from home. Long story short about the phone calls from home is that the public are really hoping that Molly and Callum get back together. This comes up on 3 separate phone calls. This sort of turns into nothing, because that's all it is nothing. But the public is like, Molly and Callum, it could still happen. It's what the people are rooting for. And when the people back home talked about it, it caused like a little bit of a stir in the villa, but it all was quickly resolved. It's not even worth getting into here. Later that night, Georgia and Anton are kissing on a beanbag, and Georgia gets mad at Anton for kissing with too much noise / suction. And then he's like, "That's all you, darling." And he's like, they're being playful with each other back and forth. But I think Anton is starting to get frustrated with how much, like, Georgia seems to be a little bit unsatisfied with him, and he can feel it. And I think that Anton has put forth a lot of himself, and he's just such a romantic and a sweetheart. And I do think he wants that back from someone, and he just doesn't really get it back from her. But then her excuse for that is like, I'm a slow burner and it takes me a long time and it's hard for me to do yada yada whatever. Like, there's always some reason why she can't meet him at the level where he is, and she's like, I feel like I'm doing so much and whatever, and she ends up making him feel bad for wanting more. I just don't find them to be compatible at all, to be honest. I think that he wants more than what she is willing and able to give him, which I just feel for the guy, and I don't see this working on the outside at all. So he's still being playful, but he does seem to take a turn to being a little bit more serious here, where he's like not gonna let her just like continue to make jokes about him all the time. Where he's like, you can just go kiss someone else then. And but like I said, he's not really being mean here. He's still being playful. And then she starts kicking off, and she's like, you can be really judgmental sometimes. And then he kicks off, and he's like, me? I'm judgmental? Like, you're the one. We were just making out, and you just paused making out to like make me feel bad and be like, oh, you kissed too loud for no reason. I'm the judgmental one. So I understand, because that would have pissed me off too, Anton. And then they end up just like breaking apart for a little bit. They're laying in bed later that night, and Anton rolls over to try to talk to her and express how he feels like he's been so patient and so considerate of her feelings, but she's not offered him the same back. And she immediately starts arguing to him and won't listen. And I'm like, ugh, I hate that. I really didn't like it. They end up resolving it the next morning. And Anton apologizes to her. Would you believe it? I don't think he had any reason to apologize. And I feel bad that he ended up being the one to apologize to all of that. I was like, I'm Team Anton completely this season. Anton is a king. He's behaved like a king. I don't think Georgia likes him. And I think that he can feel that. He can sense that. But then she will actively be like, no, I do like you. And it like confuses the fuck out of him, because he's like, okay, I feel like I'm experiencing one thing, but you're saying another thing, and now I'm just fucking confused. And I totally get it. Adam and Arabella did go to the hideaway, and I don't know how she doesn't have the ick from him, because I just find him so cringe. When they were in the hideaway and he was wearing that little fucking, whatever it is, his wrestling thong, whatever they are, those tight little underwear, fucking shiny whatever that he was wearing in the hideaway that said flex on the back. So cringe. I absolutely could not. Then all of the ex-islanders are here, and they're voting for which couple to send home. Now, I'm not going to go through who everyone voted for. A lot of them are voting for Georgia and Anton because they don't think they have a strong enough connection. Or they're going for Arabelle and Adam because they don't think they have a strong enough connection. They just haven't seen it develop enough in the villa in comparison to other couples. The one absolute fucking wild card was Lewis. Lewis voted to send Molly and Tom home because he thinks it's one-sided and says there's a different connection in the villa with Cal that's still there, which is just so fucking funny. He was stirring the pot for no reason. It was like Lewis was sent in there by Redditors themselves. They like sent him in there. He was Molly's biggest op in that moment. It was so fucking funny. While all of these people are reading out, it's like becoming clear that Arabella and Adam and Georgia and Anton are neck and neck for who's gonna get booted out of the villa here. Arabella is getting fired up this entire time because of this. And like everyone, like Anton and Georgia are quiet the whole time, just like accepting the votes, which I think is kind of the way to go. Arabella is getting so mad when people are voting her, and it's like, why? Why are you mad? The reasoning makes sense. We're making it to the finale. We're voting for which couples are going to be competing for the prize money. I'm sorry, do you really think that you guys not having enough time to develop the relationship is not a valid reason why you shouldn't be voted to be in the finale at this point? Like, I think that makes complete fucking sense. It is either going to be Anton and Georgia or you two that are not making it. And to be honest, I think it makes more sense for the couple that's been together longer to end up in the finale other than you guys. Either way, why does she give a fuck? Why is she getting so mad? There's literally 1 day left of the show at this point. You found your person. You made your match. If that's the truth, who cares? Leave the villa. You've got 1 day left. It's just the fucking finale. Why do you care if you get booted tonight? What difference is it going to make? If you've supposedly made that connection and you're really happy to be with that person, then I don't see why it would matter. It just seems silly to me. So anyways, Arabella and Adam were dumped from the villa. I kind of expected something bigger to happen if they're going to bring out all the ex-Islanders, like if they were going to dump multiple couples or do like an Abby Lee Miller style pyramid or something. It wasn't that savage to me. It was just like, okay. I feel like if they were going to bring out all the ex-Islanders, they needed to do it earlier. Like if we were going to do like a tribal council sort of thing, which could have been fun. I feel like they should have done more like all-star twists. This season was very similar to a standard season of Love Island, really. I love that they didn't do any games, though. They brought in... Listen, I loved that. I loved that they invented Love Island games and were like, let's take the worst part of Love Island and make it a whole show of its own. And then they took the games out of the regular series of Love Island. No games this season. Only psychological warfare between the audience and the Islanders. Love it. Exactly what I wanted. And we got rid of the baby challenge last season. Like, they're listening, guys. We're getting rid of games. We're getting rid of babies. Living, laughing, loving. What else are we going to get rid of? You never know. Then we've made it to the finale. Woo! We've made it. I'm finally done talking. I can go cough my lungs out after I'm done recording this. So, in 5th place, we've got Georgia and Anton, which I figured that was going to happen. If I was in the British public, I would have voted for Georgia and Anton, not because I think they're going to end up together, but because Anton's a king. And that's what it comes down to for me. 4th place, Toby and Loyal G. This is also how I thought this was going to go. 3rd, 2nd, 1st, I knew who was going to win. It was obvious to me. 2nd and 3rd was a toss-up for me, but 3rd place, Sophie and Josh. 2nd place, Callum and Jess, which means Molly and Tom, have just won Love Island All-Stars. Woo! Which I kind of figured that was going to happen. I feel like they have been the strongest couple for a while now, so it just made the most sense that they were going to be the ones that won. And there it is. And there you have it. And I can't believe this season is over so quickly. And we're going to have to talk about literally anything else until June when the summer season comes. But you know what? Adding in the photos to this segment has added years onto my life. Or taken years out of my life. Whatever the fucking thing is. So you know what? I need a break from editing in all these fucking photos. God damn it. Why is there so many of you? Anyways, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. Thanks for being so patient and understanding and nice to me while I have a emotional girl month. while we enter Pisces season doing the only thing I know how to do, which is be emotional online. So with that, I love you guys so much, and I will see you next week.